And we're live. We're not streaming though. We're not streaming this for a bunch of reasons.
Podcasting it?
Yep, basically podcasting, and I'm just gonna fucking have a game going. So if someone really wants to watch a thing going on, fucking go nuts. I don't know why, but some people need a thing to look at.
Good to see you alive and well, Colour.
Okay.
Yep.
Alright, so what you been up to, Nick?
Playing Xenoverse, new DBZ game.
Oh, you liking it?
Yeah, it's been pretty fun.
Ah.
I can't say it's like perfect. You will not find anything wrong with it type of game, but I'm enjoying it for what it is. I hope they continue, kind of polish it up a little bit. Has some obvious issues that could be ironed out, but it's a fun game. Really fun game to play with your friends. Online's good.
I've been playing Dragon Age Inquisition, and let me tell you, if there's one thing BioWare knows how to do, it's waste my fucking time. It's such a weirdly common thing with the game, and I saw a decent number of people even bring it up on like threads. But it's strange how like reviewers seem to gloss over just how time-wasty the game likes to be. Like for how streamlined it is, it really doesn't need to be like as long as it is. It has so much filler. There's so many things that are just objectively not fun. Now it's just kind of
And it makes you do it, you're saying.
basic. I mean, not all of it you have to do it, but I mean, if you want to be a higher level, which at good parts of the game you're gonna want to be a higher level, you're gonna be doing this stuff.
Well, isn't it the type of game where it basically forces you to be a certain level?
Kinda. Okay, well, the way I'd put it is there's certain things you just don't get to do if you're at a lower level, and like there's not a whole lot I could see that you could do to compensate. And it's kind of insulting because of how simple this game is, and people will laud it for it's like, oh my god, it's like 50 hours, and I'm like, I already figured out how to break the game with a basic strategy from the start, and anyone who hasn't figured this out wasn't paying enough attention with like the most basic deductive reasoning, which is you get 3 mages. They all have barrier and like 1 stun skill. One guy casts barrier, everyone else does stuns. By the time your barrier's down, have someone else cast barrier. You've won the game. Just go along each quest near your level. You've already won the game.
Amazing.
And
Sounds pretty deep.
there's so many reviewers who're like, oh, this is like my game, like one of my possible games of the year. And I'm like, this is garbage. Like this should not be fucking 50 hours. This game should not be this easy to break for how streamlined this is. This game
Yeah,
should not be wasting my time so much. And when I say wasting my time, there's so many elements to this game that do shit where it's like, oh, you need to pick up these items for this. Like there's so many quests that do that. There's even, for Christ's sake, like one of your specializations. Like when you get to a certain point in the game, you choose like a thing for your character. So it's like, oh, I wanted to be like a magic swordsman. And so I'm like, oh, like what's she gonna do? Is she gonna like put me through some kind of a test of character, something to show that I'm, not bad at this game? No, they tell you to go get an item and then 2 other items. And they don't really tell you how to get those, so I just Googled, like, how do I get a wisp essence? And they're like, oh, you gotta go here in this one map because there's these enemies that drop them. So just go get them. And I just kind of stared at the screen with this just huge frown on my face. For fuck's sake, even the romance, I swear to God, the romance, like I was trying to bang this one chick, and so it's like, oh, you gotta court her, like she says, like, you gotta, like, court me, and I'm like, oh, kadoke, and it, a quest, like, thing comes up, and it says, oh, you gotta get a poetry book from here, some flowers
Oh my god,
from
so
here.
it's just a fetch quest.
And yeah, I'm like, you literally are just having me go from, like, 3 different points of the map to go grab a thing. This is not immersing me in the world, it's taking me out of it, and it's wasting my fucking time!
So the whole game is fetch quest.
The whole game is wasting my fucking time! It's literally the game! It's... And like, why is this so common in games? And I was just thinking about it when you asked me about am I excited or not excited for the new Silent Hill game, and it's like, I don't know, because the Silent Hill games never really stood that much on their gameplay to begin with. Yeah, I said it. They're like weird in PT.
And you're saying that as someone who's like that.
Yeah, I like Silent Hill 2 like a lot. But like PT it kind of followed up from Silent Hill 2, where it's like very heavy on atmosphere, not very heavy on like gameplay. Like it's like the gameplay is puzzles, and I'm like, what does puzzles have to do with me being scared?
Yeah.
And I kept trying to explain this to people. I'm like, it's literally kind of stupid that you're scared once you figure out, oh, I'm not in any trouble, really. And they're like, yeah, but it's the atmosphere. And I'm like, is that what the fuck you people want out of video games? Is games that are supposed to be scary where nothing in the actual gameplay is scary? Is that what we've come to?
Yeah.
Why are video game players such marks? I don't understand it.
That's a good question. I think, to get back to Dragon Age real quick, when you were talking about how, like, you know, the game forces you to, like, you know, get certain items to do certain things, which makes you level up and blah, blah, blah. I was thinking about, like, RPGs I like where you can beat the game without ever leveling or doing any of the side stuff if you're good.
Yeah.
Like Final Fantasy X, you don't have to level up ever.
Yep.
You can beat the game with being the base stats that you start with.
Oh, I
if you
should
know what
mention.
you're doing.
I don't think I mentioned why I brought up the horror game thing. The reason why I bring up horror games is a lot of horror games, like I think basically all of them, even the good ones, like ones I really enjoy, they have puzzles. They have these moments where there's nothing like bad going on. The game just kind of like stops, and you need to do a puzzle. And I'm like, what does this have to do with horror, or exploration, or basic survival problem solving? Any kind of basic like gameplay element. What does this puzzle have to do with? I feel like if I asked the developer this, they could not give me an answer that is in any way an objective. Oh no, it's about like this like fundamental thing. It's like no, this is the thing you put in here, so the player has to stop, and it takes up the amount of time it takes.
You needed something for us to do, so you just came up with whatever random thing.
I feel like a lot of video games almost follow like the bad Hollywood script of like gameplay design. Even good games, like a bad story often has a scene or scenes where they don't actually have anything meaningful for these side characters to be doing or saying, but they still need a scene for the character to where they just do something.
Yeah, they
so they're
need
just called
to
giving them
justify,
something to do.
Yeah, they need to justify why that character exists, so they're just like, whatever, just.
And I feel like that's like a big thing in games. It's like, well, we need to have a certain hour count on this game. So we need to give the player a thing to do because we've ran out of gameplay ideas.
Yep. People won't buy the game if it's not X amount of time, so here you go. Here's another fetch quest.
Yep.
That's the thing I used to harp on the classic REs all the time, where people are like, oh, I missed the puzzle design of the first Resident Evils, where it's like, to a certain extent, I can understand where you might want a puzzle to like build up tension, because you might have just like revealed this new scary enemy, so you want the player like to think about it for a long time while they're just doing some random thing. But there's way too many for that, where it's like there's so many times where it's like you just want to get to the next part of the game. And it's like there's a square, this keyhole has a knight shaped in carving on it, and then you later on, you know, in just a random spot you get the knight key. It's like, oh wow, that's so deep. And that is a thing that classic REs did all the time, and it's not good. I'm sorry, people. That's not good. Like,
it's always great when you run into a puzzle that you're actually confused and frustrated by, and it's like you literally end up resorting to like a guide or something, and you don't even feel bad because it's like this isn't even a fucking game. It's a puzzle. Like what? Like I want to play the game. I don't want to. I didn't
like
come
you
here to do a
advertise
fucking jigsaw puzzle.
Like you advertise it as survival horror, but then it's like, oh, you must find how much weight these 3 different oil drums can add up to get through this pressure check door, and it's like, what the fuck?
There's a bit in Silent Hill Homecoming where it has one of those, you know those puzzles where you have to like slide a piece around? Like there's like an empty spot and you have to like slide a piece.
Classic.
I was always fucking terrible at those as a kid. So, God, maybe the scariest part of the game was when I was going through his old attic or whatever, and I'm like, oh, are there any monsters up here? Are there any? No, but oh God.
Sliding block puzzle.
No! And I took a long time.
And it's so immersion breaking because you'll like a lot of times like you'll do one of these things to open like a wooden door, and it's like really the character in this universe couldn't have found an easier way to get through that wooden door.
I would have left the town. You know what? Fuck this. I'm done with this shit.
And I think this is why I prefer like RE3 much more to the other classic REs, because it's very not focused on puzzles. There's very few in the game, and the ones that are like just blatant puzzles are usually really easy, so you don't really have to worry about it too much. And it's more focused on, running away from this monster who's trying to kill you, which is what I thought, Resident Evil was supposed to be about.
Yep.
So that's what I liked about it. But nowadays, RE fans act like that game is like the black sheep of the RE games. Like, it's weird. I don't know why. What was Capcom thinking? Like,
It's kind of funny because really Resident Evil 4 should be the black sheep. And I say that,
Yeah.
and I love it.
and I think that's a good.
It's like
great
if
game.
I was like really serious, if I was like an old hard, like an old time hardcore fan of that series, I'd be kind of mad about that game.
Well, the funny thing is about that, there are a lot of classic
Yeah.
RE fans that like hate RE4 for what it is, but these are also the same type of people that say like Resident Evil 1 is like a masterpiece, and I'm like, guys, like,
Yeah, one thing that doesn't
come
annoy me,
on.
this is kind of, we're just kind of get a little sidetracked, but I guess whatever, is those people that will say like, oh, the old ones were like scarier, like the story was more serious. I remember there's even a guy who said, I'll never forget going through a NeoGAF thread, he mentions, I missed the story. That was in Resident Evil 3. There's no story, and I'm like, what story?
Which is really dumb because RE3's story, while it's nothing special, it's pretty much the same type of crap as
A lot of
RE1 and
games
2.
just use their story to kind of, once again, it's cutscenes, spat out time. It's kind of
Yeah.
like, they don't really matter.
Well, like, I don't even understand where people are coming from that, because RE1's story is
Fucking god awful.
okay. So, not counting the remakes and the changes, the just actual RE1, I'm pretty sure the entire extent of the story is there's crazy stuff going on in this mansion. Raccoon special forces get sent there. Wesker's a dick and betrays everybody. Crazy monster eventually gets unleashed, kills Wesker, and Chris and Jill get away, and everyone else dies. That's the story of the game. Like, there's other details in there, but that's pretty much everything you actually need to know about that game.
Right.
Not exactly,
Whoa.
amazing storyline. And then, of course, they changed a bunch of stuff with the remake, and Wesker somehow didn't die
But
because
did they
he was
fix
already...
the puzzles?
No, they kept all
So
those
the
intact.
game keeps wasting your fucking time!
Well, I wasn't talking about the new one that just came out, but I was talking about our remake, which was a GameCube,
I think the new
I
one's
believe.
still kind of like a remake, but higher res.
No, the new one is, from what I understand, it's basically just RE1 with better graphics and different
And
voice acting,
big, fat tits.
and easier
jiggling.
control. What? And easier controls.
Have you not seen that?
No.
Yeah, I saw like a GIF or whatever of Jill in the latest like Resident Evil 1 port, whatever. Oh my god,
What? What do you? What?
the boobage, like the amount of jiggle on the like he's just
Oh, I
walking
did not-
and her
I did not know this was the thing.
they cannot stay in place. It's
Jill needs.
it's
Jill needs a
ridiculous.
sports bra. Clearly,
It's like real. Like if I saw that in real life, I'd be like, "That's not real, right?"
I can't keep my eyes on it.
Yeah, like it's not sexy. It's like distracting.
Oh, sure, it's not sexy. It's just distracting. I've heard that line.
No, it's like it's so bad. Now I gotta find an example. Of
No,
this.
no. That's
No, I'm
not.
finding an example.
No,
I want to get
We
your
gotta keep this moving. No, we can't keep this moving.
Slap you
So
across the face.
you can put in a video clip later, but we're not talking. about it.
That'd
so-
be too much effort.
Oh, I wanted to get back to Xenoverse real quick. Just one little thing I wanted
shit.
to mention is that they did already have a patch, like a balance patch or certain things for the game, and it hasn't been out that long. So I think that'd be kind of cool if they actually do plan to support the game as sort of like, they actually intend for it to have a certain level of, valid competitive. Because right now the game is really crazy, and there's so many really powerful things, which I'm fine with as a fighting game guy. Like that's kind of like how Marvel vs. Capcom is, but I know most people don't like games like that anymore. They want things to be more quote unquote fair and whatnot. I'm fine with there being really powerful stuff as long as everybody has really powerful stuff. And that's kind of where the game is right now. But I don't know. We'll see it. I don't know how Namco and I think it's Dimps. Dimps. I think is the guys that make these games now. Plan to do things. Or no, Dimps. I think works on Street Fighter now, right? I think so. Or was it the other company? There was two companies that made the DBZ games. One of them is working on Street Fighter 5 right now.
Right.
So good job to those guys. That's quite the promotion.
Neat.
So yeah, Street Fighter V is being made by Dragon Ball Z fighting game creators. So screw you, all reviewers that said that the people behind the Budokai games didn't know what they were doing. Clearly, Capcom.
Oh, so it's the exact same.
It's the people who made the Budokai games, from what I understand, are making Street Fighter V. I'm not. I'd have to check in the details, but I'm pretty sure that's the case.
Fascinating.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. And that's actually another thing I want to talk about at some point, is that game reviewers in general
Don't know what the fuck we're talking about.
They do not understand anything about fighting games.
Well,
Like, straight up. I'm not trying to be, like,
Yeah, I don't even blame them,
mean and edgy,
really. I mean, it's...
but it's true. They
it's
don't.
a genre... The thing about fighting games, and, like, the weird thing with reviewing them, is it's kind of a thing you really need, like, a lot of experience in before you can really talk, like, you know what you're talking about. Like,
I disagree.
really? I mean, I think you
Yes.
need some degree of commitment to it, at least.
I don't.
What do
To
you
be
think?
good at them, yes, but not to understand them. Because the real reason why professional reviewers don't understand fighting games and aren't good at them is because fighting games are almost purely based on mechanics. And reviewers, most of the time, the majority of them, mechanics is not the thing they focus on. That's like one of their lower concerns. The first things they focus on is like the story or the content or the features, because those are easy things to kind of, you know, tally up, so to speak. Like anybody can say the game has X amount of features, this much content, this is what it looks like. It's much harder to actually understand the mechanics and what they do and how they work. And that's what fighting games are all about. It's the same reason why games like Devil May Cry oftentimes don't get understood well by reviewers, because they're also very mechanically heavy games.
I can see where you're coming from there, yeah.
I hate to say this, but it's kind of like gameplay is not what reviewers care most about, which sounds horrible, but I think that's pretty much the case.
Well,
Like,
I mean, there's a growing trend of gamers who don't really... Like, they outright say
Yeah.
they don't seem to, like, give a giant shit about... Like, anyone who's trying to tell me, like, The Order is, like, even a 7 out of 10 game, it's like, what fucking... Like, what games
Yeah, how
are you
does it
playing
earn
where that's
that?
your bar for a 7?
yeah.
7's a passing. This is
And I
passing.
guarantee most of that 7 is coming from, oh, it has great graphics and voice acting.
I really feel like graphics should almost in a way not even affect your score unless they're distractingly bad, to be honest. Or if they
Or it's
actually...
doing something really unique that, like,
Yeah.
really brings out that whole feeling of the game or something.
Yeah. Like, if The Order was translated to a movie, no one would even care about the visuals, if you think about it.
Oh, yeah, it would be nothing.
Like, if that was just, like, a live-action movie?
Yeah, it'd be whatever.
So, yeah.
Yeah. I don't...
Also, Order, another great game for what we were talking about. 'Cause that game loves to waste your fucking time.
Yeah, walk
So
over
many
here,
games.
walk over there.
That's the other thing with AAA. I forgot to bring up why I was kind of bringing up Dragon Age. Is there, if there's one giant offender when it comes to wasting your time, it's AAA. What? Like, I don't
Yeah.
know why that's become so synonymous with AAA.
I think I know why. My theory is that because of the high production values the games typically have in AAA, they can't really afford to put in like enough unique content to make a game decently length, so they're kind of forced to repeat things and have silly, things that just are slow and meandering. Like even The Last of Us, it's like, oh, move this dumpster over here so
There's
I
like
can
a
get
million
this
of those
ladder.
people would like defend those for pacing. I'm
Yeah,
like,
and
you
it's like,
really stop
no.
giving just shit about pacing on a replay, and they're like, oh, it's not really meant for a replay. I'm like, I'm supposed to be spending $60 on a pretty basic third-person shooter, and you're going to tell me what your exact pacing for this game's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Like, really? Like, hell, I would be happier if instead of doing, moving a dumpster or whatever
Just
for
have
5
a
minutes,
small scene that
have
doesn't
a
have
cutscene.
enemies.
Yeah, have a cutscene. Fine, whatever. Like,
Because I can
it'd be
skip the
better than
cutscene.
that. Yeah,
Because
exactly.
on a first playthrough,
Yeah.
I will watch the cutscene and I won't be mad about it. As
yeah,
long as they're
even
not
if
too...
it's not that good.
Yeah, if they're not too off, like, especially if it's after a really tense moment, I have to watch cutscenes in games where it's like, I've played it before, just because it's like,
Yeah.
taking just a small mental
And that's
break.
kind of what the old Metal Gear games did. Like
Yep.
Metal Gear Solid. I don't mean the MSX games, but the
Yeah.
PS1, PS2 games.
Metal Gear
Is that
Solid.
like they would never have gameplay that was just
Just
meaningless.
force you. Yeah.
If they wanted pacing, there would be a cutscene. If they wanted gameplay, they would make sure the gameplay actually was there for a reason. Like, we're gonna the very rarely, if ever, in the old school 3D Metal Gear games, would there be a gameplay segment where you're just doing the same old routine over and over again.
So I think the intro, it's like where I feel like I do not relate with a lot of people. A lot of people really, really commend the intro for The Last of Us. And I would say The Last of Us, the intro would be decent in a movie. I say decent because it's still nothing like I haven't seen before. It's like, oh yeah, the zombies attack. Never seen this before. Like,
yeah, that's why I keep saying this, and I think it's the Order and other games that come out recently kind of proving my point that a lot of these games that we're holding up as cinematic masterpieces in the movie world would be considered like average to subpar movies that don't have good scripts, don't have good dialogue, or just, you know, whatever. But because it's in a game, people are like, oh my god, this is a once in a lifetime generational thing. It's like, what? This is nothing interesting. This is like the most, you know, typical cliche thing that's been done a million times.
To keep on with my point, because I don't really care about like cliches or whatever. I mean, like there was a video done by these guys at Red Letter Media called Previously Recorded. They got a lot of attention, and one thing I really liked about that review is they talked about how cliches themselves are not like a problem. Like,
that's true.
How you handle it, like I don't have a problem with any zombie game, because a zombie game in a way can naturally provide certain like, you know, you just like you kind of naturally have moments where you're going to be either forced to deal with enemies or forced to hide from enemies, you know.
Yeah.
Like, you can do whatever, I don't fucking care. Like, I'm never offended by a zombie game or a zombie movie or whatever. It's how you handle it. And The Last of Us, the way it handles its intro is it's like you're watching it, but the game makes you play it, and that means you don't get to skip it unless you're on a replay and you just completely don't do that scene at all. Which feels like a terrible introduction to a video game. It feels like the opposite of someone, like a game from someone I really respect, like Miyamoto or you know, like Miyazaki would do. It's like, oh, the intro should be like something that really introduces you to the game. Like, the game!
Yeah.
And what they could have done something where it's like, oh, you can't fight it, so like the game teaches you the stealth mechanics with like the little girl, you know.
Yes,
creepy.
yeah, that would have been cool, actually.
Yeah, it would have been actually scary as fuck.
Because then it would have put you into the character's shoes.
Yeah, and then you would actually kind of relate with it. But no, it's like you're just kind of watching it. It's like, oh, this is spooky. No, it's not. Like, throughout the entire thing, I felt like I wasn't really playing the game. And then after that, even after that, when it's over, the game then puts you in another intro where you're playing as Joel, and you still have to like learn how to run and use a medkit, which really shouldn't require a tutorial to just
and it's a situation where it doesn't feel like you're really bonding with the character, because shouldn't the Joel character already know these things? Like, why is he learning how to run? Why is he learning how to use a medkit?
Well, I mean, it's not like it's just the game pops up a message. Like, you get hurt in a cutscene, and the game's like, here's how you heal yourself. It's like, okay. Like, I don't fucking care. Like,
and not to harp on The Last of Us too much, but I also think that the ending, like, totally ruined everything they set up, because I feel it just jumps the shark, like, so much to the point where it's, like, a blatant situation where they're making a movie script, but then, oh yeah, it's a video game, so it has to have a video game-like climax, so you're going to kill, like, a bajillion people. It's like, well, this doesn't really mesh with anything you've established up to this point. Like, this would fit more in, like, Gears of War.
Problem. We were talking about games waste your time. It's really two big problems. Games that waste your time, and games that have no idea how to incorporate, like, interactivity.
Yeah.
Into, like, the actual story.
It's like, oh shit, how would this work in a game at this point? Well, I guess he'll just kill everybody. Okay.
Yep.
Like, even didn't The Order do that a shit ton too?
Oh,
it's like,
the entire intro is just bumble around and press a button.
It's like, oh, we don't want to hurt anybody here. Oh, we gotta kill 100 people. Whoops. couldn't avoid it. And it's like, these are the storytelling masterpieces of our time in the gaming world.
Yep.
We have to kill 100 people right now. There's no other way.
Well, it shows because a lot of people get weirded out when they play a game like, say, Dark Souls or... what's another good example? I can't really think of anything off the top of my head. I know there's more examples than Dark Souls. I'm stupid. I can't remember anything.
Majora's Mask?
Yeah, it's a decent... Well, they say it's like, oh, there's not enough story here. But it's like, no, what you're doing is the story.
You are the story. Like, everything you think and feel as you play is the story.
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of what Metal Gear Solid 2 was trying to get at, even though, you know, the game was a little before its time to do that, I think, but that's what they were going for, is that what you're personally feeling is the story, like, how you interpret it.
I'd say maybe the gameplay could incorporate that more, but I think they do a better job with just the story, because the story is focused more in a certain way, where, like, I think the way I'd put it is Metal Gear Solid 2 never does anything where I really didn't feel like I couldn't be righted, even if I didn't always relate.
Yeah.
Where, like, The Last of Us, like, Joel's like just basic decisions are things I could never do. I'd be like, I'm not fucking going to, like, it's just not relatable. It's just not. It's not a survival story. It's not a real bonding story. I don't think. I'm not a father, so that's another thing I always love. People like, oh, you're not a father. It's like, I don't
That's
think
kind
my
of
father.
insulting.
I don't think my father would have been capable of killing 100 people. So
Yeah,
when it's like, what would
exactly.
you do in this situation? It's like, that's not the actual question being asked. It's what would
Yeah,
you
it's
do if
like-
you were a super badass?
Super soldier, yeah. What if you would do if you were a father and you were a super soldier? Well, obviously,
Well,
I would
obviously,
have just
Master
killed
Chief would
everyone.
fuck some shit up.
Yeah, like that's why I hate when people say that. It's like, no, this isn't just your random dad doing what a dad would do.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
kind of
every-
goes back. It's like games thematically, when they're wasting your time, they bring you out of it.
Yeah,
And yeah, like that was another big thing with like Dragon Age. It's like, oh, I'm an Inquisitor. You know, I'm part of the big Inquisition. I'm the leader. All this shit, and I'm gonna go gather some elf fruit for the garden. Fuck.
Yeah.
Obama, we need you to gather some minerals. What did you just say to me?
I would like to actually make a game where the whole game is fetch quests and they just get more and more ridiculous. as
Yeah,
it
your
goes.
like your character's just becoming more angry, and then the end of the
Yeah.
game, you just kill everybody.
Yeah, of course. I
You
would
hate
also
everyone
prefer-
around you.
Yeah, every single person must die now. That, you know.
But like it's acting really dramatic about it.
Yeah, it's come to this.
And at the end, he's like, "Wait, what?" And then it
no,
gives
the
sense.
end. You know what the ending is?
What?
Gunshot fade to black.
It's gonna be the end of my life. Damn it!
Yep.
That's gonna be my final words. Gunshot fade to black.
God
What
damn it!
the fuck?
Can't wait. AAA
wait.
cinematic experience. Can't get anywhere else.
Yep.
Except in like any random schlocky B movie that you've seen like 80 million times.
The only thing they could have done to make that ending more schlocky was if it had like some fucking hard rock play right after, some Disturbed or something.
Yeah.
Like the gunshot happens, you're oh what?
The funny thing about the whole thing is with the order, like I think, you know, I hate to say this, but I think I was right. And if they just went crazy with the idea, it could have been really.
That's what I
just-
thought it was going to be. I'm pretty sure I said that in the first podcast.
Yeah, I think
It's
you
like,
did.
I
before
saw
we even knew.
when they were in a carriage, and I was like, "Wait, he's on like a radio. Okay, what's going on? Like this isn't really steampunk." And then they got out, and there's like a bunch of the dude's missing, and a bunch of monsters show up, and they start shooting at him. And the guy pulls out a fucking laser gun, and I was like, "Okay, this is going to be like the dumbest, stupidest, amazingest like."
Because I was thinking, like, what if the climax was a horde of werewolves being
Yeah,
led
like
by
they attack your fucking-
led by Dracula?
Yeah.
And it's just like, yeah, that's in the game. And there's
Fuck
just
it.
like, you know, and there's just like, you know, you and like 10 other random dudes you're with, just it's just crazy. That would have been fun. At least, you know, it wouldn't have been like gameplay mastery or something, but it would have been something, you know, if people can be like, holy shit, I didn't see that coming.
Well, I'd like to
Instead,
ask is
you know,
why do all of these shooters not care about actually being shooters? Now, that's a serious question. Okay, anyone who actually likes playing shooters, I ask you this. Why have, and this is coming from someone who played a buttload of shooters growing up, like, all of them. I mean, all of them. I played everything from Call of Duty to Gears of War to Counter-Strike, TF2, whatever the fuck. I played all of them, right? Why is it that basically every major, even huge AAA shooters, have basically done nothing significant since Halo 1 to improve at basic enemy AI, basic approach to level design, reactivity to your gunshots, what guns actually do for you, destructibility in the environments, any kind of thing you could do with maybe like squad, you know, like you could tell your dudes to do something. Any of that. Why have none of these things actually been improved upon? It's always, oh, I'm playing this for the story. Then why are you making it a shooter? So that's the thing. I don't like. I have a weird place in my heart for Shadow of the Colossus because it was a very influential game for me as a kid. Like I enjoyed it a lot, but like I don't
Yep.
see it as like a masterpiece and maybe design because the puzzles aren't really based off a very good, consistent mechanic. Like Portal is one of my favorite puzzle games, and I'm not someone who really enjoys puzzle games. Because the way you solve it is with the same consistent tool, much like kind of a platformer. You're constantly just figuring out, how do I use what I've been using in a different way? For Shadow of the Colossus, it's just like, how do I get on this thing? Which, you know, has like a variety of just kind of very scripted... Like, once you replay it, it's like next to impossible to even forget how to do it. Like, you know, Portal, sometimes I'm still replaying it after a year, I'm like, wait, what do I do here? And I have to like take a couple, moments to think,
Take a step back, and
which makes it a puzzle,
as opposed to just an answer you find and then you have it, and then
So what was
a lot of classic games were like that, really. Like,
yeah, but the point is I'm making is like with a game like Shadow Colossus, even though I don't like that, or a game like say Ico, the game is presenting the world in a much more immersive way because it's not trying to do something very repetitive. Like with a shooter, it's like in between these story moments, you're shooting people. And
you're
then
shooting 100 people.
And then you're like stabbing a dude. And like it needs all these excuses for you to be killing people. And a game like Ico or Shadow of the Colossus, it needs zero excuses for what you're doing.
Well, see, here's the reason.
I still respect those games. Like I never feel like they went, oh fuck, we're out of ideas, and they had to like do something ridiculous.
Well, here's the reason why it's shooters and why it's come to this. It's because, for whatever reason, shooters have just kind of become the mainstream game that everyone can play. I don't know exactly why, because they're not really the most accessible. You get.
I remember as a kid,
yeah.
one of my first shooters, I felt like I was brain dead retarded. Like I mean that like genuinely like
it definitely has a learning hurdle you have to get over, yeah. And on top of that, I guess it's just one of those things where it's just so easy to do. Like you point a crosshair at someone, you kill them. It doesn't take a lot of imagination. Like I think it might be a simple case where, like for example, Shadow of the Colossus, someone might look at it and be like, oh, this is weird, and just be turned off on it and not play it. Where it's like, oh, this is a guy shooting people. I know how to do that. That's easy enough.
But if you're trying to make a game that's actually about its story, you need to respect its story. Shooting a million dudes is not respecting its story.
Well, I don't think they care about that, to be perfectly honest.
I'm talking to the people who say, oh, I'm playing for the story. It's like, okay, play games that are about the story.
Yeah.
Stop fucking like telling me like, oh, this isn't really about the gameplay, but it's a game that keeps having to like justify its own crappy gameplay. I never feel like Ico is trying to justify why you're platforming, and yet somehow I felt more immersed in those characters, even though there's like way less cutscenes and way less really everything in a game like Ico. But fuck about it.
Cinematic experience.
And the thing is like it annoys me how that term has come to. What cinematic means is really it's like a roller coaster. It's like, oh, here's a game that like just keeps wasting your time and throwing shit in your face. But really, it could mean like, oh, this is a game that like actually takes inspiration from movies.
Yeah,
like
that's basically what it means now.
It's another good example.
The funny thing is, you hardly ever people usually don't use that term for Metal Gear, which I find very weird because it was like the innovator of that.
But I mean, Silent Hill is one of my favorites. I mean, like I said, I feel like it could have better horror mechanics. But I actually really love a lot of stuff it does where it's like there's a scene in Silent Hill 3 where you're going down these stairs and the camera's like in an odd position and you hear like a weird noise, right? Like a wheel spinning. As you go down, the camera's like shot from, I believe, the other side of basically like a wheelchair that's like on its side with like the wheel spinning. And it's basically, it calls your like attention to it, makes you kind of like want to investigate, so you just walk towards it and you find like a submachine on the ground, and there's a bunch of blood and there's bullets all over the place, bullet holes all over the place, and it's just kind of like, alright, that's creepy. Like it's just a simple little thing where it's if this wasn't done in a cinematic way, might not have quite the same effect. But when
that's the thing.
And that's
sorry,
like
go on.
3 seconds. It's not a cinematic like in Last of Us where it's like, oh, here's a ladder, go put it over here.
Yeah, that's the thing I wanted to actually mention is that I think a lot of times the most powerful like story moments in games for me are stuff that very explicitly were not cinematic moments, but just things where there was this thing that was placed in the game world in a way where I would naturally, stumble upon it, and it just kind of creates this moment with the player that's more intimate because it's not scripted and it's not, specifically directed a specific way. It's just kind of there. And like, I hate to keep bringing up Dark Souls as an example, but there's a lot of moments in the Souls games where stuff like that happens where
oh yeah,
you just kind of like
anyone who's played Souls can say Anor Londo. Like it feels like something out of a movie.
Well,
but cooler.
I actually wasn't going to use Anor Londo because I think that is kind of scripted in a way, like not nearly as much as
I mean, it feels like your own discovery.
But I was going to think something. I was going to think something more along the lines of like the first time you go like the New Londo Ruins and the first time you encounter the ghost there, because like it's it's not scripted at all. That's just the level, but yet the atmosphere of it and the way the enemies act and stuff is just so well done It's you won't forget that first time you're there,
Mm.
and it didn't require a cutscene. It's just how the game is designed, and that to me is good design, good like in a storyline type of way.
Honestly, I even get annoyed when they have cutscenes for most enemies. Like I remember, people were like talking about like whatever happened to like say Dead Space 3 and stuff. And what happened to Dead Space 3, by the way, is EA told them they had to be AAA, and you know,
Yeah,
look how well that turned out.
you need
Dead
a
Space-
cutscene for every new enemy, right?
Yeah, Dead Space 1 and 2, whenever there's an enemy, there's almost never a cutscene for it, actually. It just
Yeah.
is there. I mean, sometimes it's a scripted event, but it's just there. Like, it shows up, so it feels a little bit more like you're finding it, or it's like, okay, here's the scene where it shows up.
Yeah,
And you can create situations where it's like it's there, or the player's not sure if it's there, and they're scared. But when you just have a scene where it's like, oh, the player gets this far, and the camera zooms in on a thing, and it growls at you, that feels so immersion breaking. And
yeah,
of course, Dead Space 3, like literally, I think just about every fucking unique enemy they have in the game, every single time one shows up, camera zooms in and it goes, "Bleh," and then it starts moving, and you're like, okay.
I really think the simple way to sum it up is that current like AAA can be fine to a certain extent, but the way the trend is for those games is they've gotten way too heavy-handed. That's
Yeah,
what
when you
it
say
comes
AAA
down
can be
to.
fine, the thing that I try to explain to people, and I think why people act like, say for the Order is example, I mean, you don't want to beat on it too much, but I think it's a good example for this. People are like, oh, why are you getting so like mad about this game? I think the reason why people get so mad about that game is because they feel like, oh yeah, this is what AAA has become. Like,
Yeah,
AAA
exactly.
means like you have a pretty big budget. That's kind of what it means. Like it's a big, usually first party or something. Like, some big publisher is pushing the shit out of this. Like, it's
Yeah.
got a big marketing budget. It's got a big budget. Got really good graphics. Got a lot of like either it's got a lot of content or it's got like something crazy going on. Really good voice actors and ridiculous graphics, crazy particle explosions, whatever. Something that's like, this is money. You
Yeah,
gotta sell a PS4 with this. Gotta sell Xbox One with this. But instead of that like translating into something with gameplay where it's like, oh, you could never do a game like this if you're an indie team, 90% of the time it's like, oh, this is a thing where we're just trying to mass market this as much as we can, so we're going to make it as simple as possible. So if you played this
Yep.
game before, everything's going to be exactly the same. And I'm like, this doesn't deserve this much money, in my opinion. The same old shit should not be getting this much money.
well, I really think things could change now because, like, it really was showing. It's like there was a lot of examples coming up to this point where it wasn't really working anymore. I almost say the Order is kind of like the exclamation point on that, where it's like this is really not working anymore. Something needs to change because people are either fed up with it or the budgets just aren't able to
think it's
sustain
both.
this anymore. Yeah, I think it's a little bit of
There's
both.
too much apathy from these developers, and certain things they can kind of get away with being lazy. It's like they can't. There's too much money involved. Too many people to manage.
Yeah.
There's too much like increased awareness, especially with the internet. You just can't fuck around anymore.
And what is that Metacritic score? Like 60 or something?
Oh, it's really bad.
Like, I don't really care about Metacritic personally, but a lot
I
of
understand
people
what
do.
it means. And yeah, it's pretty bad.
So I think we're done for this week, probably.
I think so.
I think we've said pretty much everything we needed to say.
Pretty much. At least when it comes to AAA games, fucking wasting time on that shit.
Yep.
Well,
I hope-
Bloodborne's coming up soon. I'm looking
Oh
forward to
yeah,
that.
Bloodborne is coming out. That will be fun.
I have actually completely been ignoring most of the coverage for it because I want to be going in blind.
Me too. I did play the alpha,
Yeah.
but other than that, I don't really know anything.
Oh yeah, we should get some plugs in. I've been playing Dragon Age Inquisition, as I mentioned earlier. Been renting it. I'm going to be doing a full review of it soon. That should take me, I don't know, a week or less, hopefully. Have
And
that
I should
up.
I
Didn't
should
you
have
say
a
you're gonna be-
Xenoverse review up
Yep.
soon, hopefully.
I've been interested in this new game, Helldivers. I didn't actually know it was already out. I'm considering getting it, and if I do, we'll review that. And if I like it enough, I might ask you to get it, or to see if we can share play it or something, so we can co-op it, and get some good gameplay up, whatever the fuck. We might start streaming stuff soon too. I don't know. Depends if there's like enough interest in it, I guess.
Hmm.
I mean, also just to get like more content out there. So yeah, we're gonna keep this crappy channel going. So thanks for sticking with it or not. We out, son. Nick, say bye.
Bye.